Good morning, everyone. I hope you all well. I hope you took some time last week to be able to practice and go out in nature and find that stillness. That stillness is the home base of everything in spiritual practice. And when we find it, we're able to find really core pieces of ourselves and who and what we are. And it comes through practice. We have to do it regularly, and then it sort of deepens. But I also wanted to touch base quickly, very quickly, on the benefits of meditation and mantra practice, saying the names of God repeatedly, or even a couple times. But in this case, it's talking more on mantra practice, and that's kind of saying the name repeatedly and getting into the flow of that energy through your body. It's a practice. You start out slowly, and then as you deepen your connection with the name, it really kind of starts opening up, and you're able to feel more and more the energy that's generated through the repetition of the name. All these things have been studied scientifically with MRIs and EKGs and all that, and I wanted to touch briefly about the benefits, because I think it's important to kind of know that, especially for people who are more intellectually oriented, but also I think it provides encouragement to do these practices, because it just doesn't align our emotions and our souls and our sort of reconnection to God and the source of us, but it also helps our human minds, our emotions, and our body. And it's important that we bring everything along to the path. It's not just an energetic thing, and it's not a heady thing. You can't go to either extremes. You have to bring your soul, your mind, brain, and your body into it. It's a conjunction, sort of a trinity, so to speak. And by working with the body through exercises and stretching and doing practices that help our minds, and doing the spiritual practices which help connect to our souls and have a better access, and we sort of learn to train our minds so we control our minds and our mind doesn't control us, and we also don't fall into the mistake of thinking we are our minds and our thoughts. We're much more than that, but they have a synergy. They all work together, and by doing certain things, we're able to get a much greater benefit if we had just done one. Alright, so exercise, how this helps us. So exercise stimulates the release of endorphins, which are the body's natural mood boosters. They reduce stress and create a feeling of well-being. It's almost like a mental reset. It reduces cortisol. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, which can build up when you're feeling overwhelmed. Less cortisol means a clearer mind and more focus. Increased blood flow. Increased blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that improve cognitive function and mental clarity. Notice these are all things that we work towards when we do meditation. Neurogenesis. promotes the growth of new brain cells, particularly in the hippocampus, which is linked to memory and learning. That's why you feel mentally sharper after you exercise regularly. Neurotransmitter balance. It regulates dopamine and serotonin, which influence mood, focus, and overall brain function. So if one exercises, one will see it becomes easier to meditate, because you're creating in your brain and your physical body with your hormones a more stable situation of calmness. So you don't get into the meditation pad or your prayer space with a lot of speed. You've already learned to kind of regulate the flow, to touch into that stillness, because you've been working on it on a physical level, right? Which touches on the electronic and hormonal part of the body, which influences the energetic bandwidth, strength, dysfunction, hopefully regulates all that, the energetic level of that, of the body, from a physical way of going about it, right? So meditation, it doesn't do everything with regard to working out, obviously, because it's not physical. It's more of a mental focus. It reduces cortisol like exercise. So it helps us manage stress and feeling calmer, which is why people tend to meditate. Boosts neurotransmitters. It increases serotonin and dopamine, which enhances mood, focus, and overall mental well-being. Improves blood flow. It does not have the same intensity as exercise, but meditation can improve blood flow to the brain, especially with breath-focused practices like the pranayama we do. And the pranayama also stills the mind. Neurogenesis and brain structure. Meditation strengthens connections in the prefrontal cortex, which is decision-making, and the hippocampus, which is memory. And it reduces activity in amygdala, it's the fear center. So it helps us stay calm, and it improves focus and emotional resilience. It builds mindfulness, making it easier to handle stress without spinning out emotionally. God knows, I think we all need that, especially me. It's important to, so you find your inner center. Do you see? And it reduces cortisol levels by up to 25 to 30% after consistent practice. And in this world, living a modern life, we have a lot of stress. Look at that, reducing cortisol levels by 30%. That's huge. That allows one to live more mindfully, so we don't react emotionally and create bad karma or bad mitzvah for ourselves, do actions that are unethical or immoral because we feel that stress. And so we do an exit to what's quick and expedient and not necessarily correct. So by cultivating that sense of mindfulness and calm through our practice, through our exercise, we're able to lead a healthier, better, more moral and ethical life, because we live from our center. We're more aligned with that inner cathedral. Yes? So we're bringing different modalities that help us physically. All these things will help with health, obviously, low blood pressure, just everything healthy would extend one's life. So, and you're happier. I mean, I love booting. I mean, I always did a lot of exercise, and I used to tell people, you know, I'm addicted to what is the name of this, endorphins. It's a mood booster when you do exercise. You feel better, you feel rested. It's just, you feel the vitality of life. You know, we have a lot of things we're addicted to. Why not be addicted to something that actually helps us, like endorphins, through cardiovascular exercise? And it calms our minds and gives a greater sense of peace, all of this, which deepens our meditation because we struggle less. And therefore, especially when you start meditation, there's less of a resistance. It's less difficult. So here's where it gets interesting. Because everybody knows I'm all about mantras. So repeating the name of God. Different levels here. First thing, it's one of the names of God. So it's highly blessed. It's a power name. If you say tree, 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 or rose, 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 it's not going to do it. Try it. You say the name Hashem, Adonai, Yahweh, Elohim, Emmanuel, you feel it. I said those names and now I'm buzzing a little bit and I feel the energy course through my body. I have practice. Sometimes it just ends up taking it one time, or just the thought of the name can make a change. That's the blessing and holiness, because by saying the name we directly connect with the divine, with God. Take my word for it. Don't be afraid. It's healing, it's wisdom, it's empowering, it's insight. It cleanses mitzvah and karma. It aligns us, helps us live better lives. All of it, it's in the name. It's like the most powerful antibiotic you can take. But it's the antibiotic of everything, of our normal human existence. It just cleanses our cathedral by saying the name. You don't have to go after one stained glass window or a wall that's dirty. By saying the name, it just naturally does it. Okay? So regular meditation, hold on. Just back up one moment. Regular meditation improves focus and attention span by 16 to 20%. Chanting mantras increases waves in the brain 12 to 15% alpha waves to boost mental clarity. Meditation lowers symptoms of anxiety and depression by an average of 20 to 25%, depending on consistency. Wow, 20 to 25% reduction in anxiety and depression. That is huge. And anxiety and depression and all that lowers lifespan. Hypertension, all sorts of things. And meditation lowers inflation markers by 10 to 15%. And nowadays there are studies that say inflammation markers are extremely unhealthy. So, mantra practice takes all of that and multiplies it much more. It's the next step from meditation. It's extremely powerful and takes meditation to a next level. You can just sit down and do the mantra and you will find relaxation with practice. Or you could meditate first, like we do in our practices, and then say the mantra. Both lead to a same place, but I do find, especially when people start out, it's important to find that stillness so you could feel the mantra more and be able to connect and deepen your connection. But an advanced meditator and mantra practitioner rather can be in the bus and say the mantra twice or once and be right there instantly. But you have the practice, and therefore it's very available. And so the repetition of a holy mantra is very powerful because it combines the spiritual, mental, and energetic aspects of meditation. But I would say meditation, its energetic aspect, is finding stillness and calm. Mantra is active. Meditation is lunar. Mantra practice is solar. It emanates energy. Lunar is calmer. You become stiller. Mantras is like bathing in the 24-karat gold. So mantra practice deepens neurotransmitter regulation, particularly with intention. You intend to connect with God, and one of my favorite words, devotion. You connect your heart and your intention. That means you're fully engaged emotionally, intellectually, this is intention. Devotion can emanate naturally from the heart, but it's also an intent as well, a desire. So you're fully connected to the frequency, and that really amplifies it. It's not like you're saying indifferently, blah, 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 the name, and you really don't care. It's not going to work that much. You'll get the blessing, but you really get the blessing when you have the devotion. Saying the name of God should come with love and respect and a desire to connect. That really activates it. And that elevates the dopamine and serotonin level in a greater way than just meditation by itself. And it creates a deeper sense of calm and focus. It strengthens neural pathways. Rhythmic repetition of a mantra creates a meditative state that strengthens neural connections in the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, enhancing memory, learning, and decision making. That's even in addition to meditation. So it amplifies the benefits of meditation. Purifies the mind and energy. The vibration of the name, remember I kept saying the vibration, resonates energetically, deeply, clearing mental and emotional clutter, while aligning you spiritually. Creates a deep sense of inner balance and connection with the divine. It's an energetic, like I said, it's solar. It really goes in. It really emanates deeply within you. It's a deep purifier down to a cellular level. Something that just meditation by itself doesn't quite do in the same way. And it tends to be much slower in doing it than a mantra practice. It reduces cortisol levels more profoundly, especially when it's infused with faith and reverence, hence devotion. It induces a flow state. The rhythmic chanting can bring you into a state of flow, where the mind is both calm and highly alert, sharpening focus while fostering emotional resilience. The name of God can elevate one's energetic field because it carries divine vibrations that aligns your energy with higher frequencies, amplifying the benefits of physical and mental practices. Remember I kept saying you get into the slipstream of God, you're in the flow, you're in the river, you don't know if it comes within you, without you, You're open to it. You're in the flow. Everything I have discussed is proven scientifically. Studies by Harvard, all sorts of places. I've done some research for you all. So this is all proven. But I can vouch for this through my own practice. I don't need a study. Actually, a lot of the benefits, I would say, I could have said that on my own, through my own practice. So all of these things are discoverable through one's practice. You don't need the machines to know this. You see the change in your own lives. But I feel that it's important to state it. Some people, need the proof and understanding of the benefits to invest in it. And it's always important to understand what one is doing, to know if it's safe or not. And so scientifically, this is what's going on. And you see what I've been teaching lines up with what scientifically has been proven. And this is why I wanted to touch on this today. As we start going deeper, because we're going to really start going deeper. And I feel it's important to really understand what's going on with our bodies and why it's important to do some physical exercise, to walk in nature, clear our minds, freshen up, do the meditation with the mantra practice. We're doing stackables. And we become healthier physically and mentally. And it's important to do this just even for our everyday lives. Spiritual practices aside. So of course, mantra practice increases alpha waves even more. So the combination of sound, vibration, and spiritual connection, and intentional focus on repeating the name, mantra practice is really a next level enhancement to traditional meditation, which is why it's considered to be so profound. So someone who's been doing it deeply and consistently for a long time, the benefits could also amplify significantly. And it's likely boosting their meditation from 50 to 70% more. That's scientifically. I disagree. I think it's 200% more to 1,000% more. I'll discuss that a little bit more in a moment. It's long-term practitioners develop stronger, more permanent neural pathways that enhance focus, clarity, and emotional resilience. You become stable. It's hard to throw you off your alignment. You begin to live more and more in your cathedral just by the nature of your practice. And with the devotion, you really start dropping through the layers of muck that we've accumulated to that inner space within us of our souls. And we're able to live there easier because our minds and our emotions don't throw us off anymore. Where, as we say, in our seat. We are in our seat. We're behind the driver's wheel, and we're capable, we're aligned, we're attentive, and we're in the slipstream. And we receive wisdom and guidance, and our instincts are properly cleansed and aligned, so they're more reliable. So we attain a level of energetic mastery. The practitioner is able to align their energetic field, which makes the effects more profound. Their presence in a room aligns the energetic field of a room. So what's outside becomes more aligned, so there's less to kind of throw you off. You have a bubble around you. Your aura becomes more resilient to what comes towards you. So there's like a force field around you. Just by the emanation of your own body, you begin to emanate as opposed to absorb. Most of us absorb energy. But now we're able to emanate a calm. Because we're more aligned with higher frequencies and divine. And the experience and the rhythm of a mantra becomes second nature, allowing the practitioner to access the flow effortlessly for a longer duration. You could access this flow in a millisecond in Times Square in New York City at noon, with all the traffic going around you and the hawking and the tourists, because it stems within. So chanting mantras from a scientific point of view increases alpha waves, leading to a 12 to 15% boost in mental clarity. So let me hit it into 8th gear, because I love putting things into 8th gear. When you're in the flow, because you have to understand, these scientists, they don't do these practices. So this is where someone who's done it for a while could take it to where science cannot. When you're in the flow and you've done it for a while and you're in the alignment, you transcend time and space. That means the benefits, what did they say? 20 to 50%? That's good. Quickly, for someone in intermediate level, would be 200%. Okay? When you are really able to do it, getting to more of a mastery level, doesn't mean you're a master, just you've really learned how to do it. You've mastered the technique and you've practiced it enough. I would say it's not quantifiable, because you're in the flow. So the benefits can be 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 times more. It transcends being able to quantify. Things could change in your life instantly. Your health can shift instantly. It's no longer in a state of duality, because the flow is really non-dual. It's in the present. And the present is infinite. Well, we're really into now maybe 10th gear. And in that space, everything is possible. Complete healing is possible. So as one practices, even when you're starting out, don't limit what you think is possible. Don't limit yourself by conventional thinking of this world as to what pop culture might think is possible, or what you see on TV. Practices that people might be more exposed to I hesitate characterizing it. How do I have the chance of not being as deep and more pop culture trend, and people don't tend to live it and practice it for the most part in a deep way for most people. So when you see that, you don't really kind of see the fruition aspect. And so we set our standards maybe a little too low. So I ask, when you do this, leave all expectations at the door. Any expectation, first thing, it's a charge, it's a mental charge, it's a thought, and we want to relax. So we need to go beyond expectations. And as we relax in meditation, we really want to go below expectations, below a thought. The present has no expectation. It's important to know what scientifically it is. It gives us affirmation, and knowledge is good. I love knowledge. This is very helpful. When I first learned of these things, when I was learning, it was very helpful. It was interesting. That's why I share it. But we let it go. Because we're working directly with energy. When one lives in the present, there's no boundaries. You transcend the limits of thoughts and ideas. And by connecting with the sacred divine frequency of a name of God, and you recite it, anything is possible with God. And so we just learn to bathe in that current, bathe in the vibration of the name. And trust that it's doing what it needs to do. And by doing that letting go, we pop into the slipstream. When our bodies have been harmonized with that frequency and blocks have been released, one pops into the flow. It's like the bottom of what keeps us from that pure inner cathedral, that sort of floor that's there, just melts away, and then we enter the zone. Do you notice we're not reaching out, but it's really an interior, internal journey, very personal. And it's really deepening our ability to connect. But as we do it, we're actually increasing our vibration. Therefore, the energy in our body, which can be called kundalini, or the life force that goes up, actually goes up through the top of the head and connects with the divine Son of Yahweh that's above us. So physiologically, with our body, our energy actually goes up. So there's this extent that we're higher. But interestingly enough, by going deeper and clearing, our energy goes higher with our body. That's why sometimes you get a sense that you're reaching up to get it, which sometimes that's what you feel. You feel you're extending yourself beyond you, which is fine to feel that. But notice, by going beyond you, you're transcending your limitations. Your mind has to be calm to go beyond you. And then you're transcending energetically this world and you're opening up. But if you feel sort of inside, there's a deep calm and open. So that's why I say, is it outside you? Is it in you? Do you see? But ultimately, when you're in the stream, these questions don't matter. Because that's dual, outside, inside, right? It's a duality. You unify with the energy of the divine. You're resonating it directly with it. And God, Yahweh, is eternal, beyond duality. The Garden of Eden was beyond duality before the fall. That's why they didn't know aging. They didn't know illness. These are all things of this dimension. This planet has a beginning, it will have an end. The universe has a beginning, it has an end. Our life has a beginning, it has an end. That's duality. But in the present is the eternity. Our soul is in the eternity. So by aligning with that, our frequency aligns with eternity. And we can live in the eternity while being in the duality. And that's attainment. A living saint, master, high priest, someone of a certain level, a prophet. But you also see these are also human beings, and they have human being problems. But you learn to work with it all. And that's what we're doing here together. And that's what I strive to share and to teach. So we all are able to develop that capacity. Yes? So why don't we go to our cushion, and take my little laptop and microphone and settle myself in, and then let's do some practice together, shall we? So we're in front of our prayer space, so we look at it. We connect with it. It should resonate with our heart and ourselves, because what we feel is a sacred space, and that's different for everyone as to what the components are of that type of candle holder, type of incense. The objects on our prayer space can vary depending on our spiritual background and what we align with towards God. Yes? So if we're aligned with a certain name, we could have that name in Hebrew on our shrine. There's power in the written name. I haven't worked with that with you yet, but that's coming. And they were originally written in Hebrew. Therefore, there's power in having the Hebrew name. And Hebrew is considered to be a sacred language by the nature of the sounds and the nature of the language, which I will explain in the future. And it's one of the world's most ancient languages, and well, we'll go more into that later, and it's extremely old. So we connect with our prayer space. That's the devotion, that's the heart, right? It increases the power of what we're going to do because energetically we connect. And we feel it's a safe place, which lowers the guard of our mind, of our fear center, right? And we feel calm. We feel held. And that already connects us with the energy of God before we do anything else, just right off the base, right? So now we should light our candle and offer our incense. We hold it with both hands over our heads and offer the incense, the smell, the sacredness of that smell. Hopefully everybody's found an incense that they feel is very sacred and aligned with God. Japanese has beautiful incense made of wood, old wood, and things that really connect. And you offer it up out of respect and devotion. That connects us deeply energetically as well. And I love the smell of my incense, so sometimes I put it over my nose, around my body, which clears our field, creates that aspect of sacred and divinity. And you also could put it over your prayer space. Or it could be over your cushion, which you sit on in your room. You could put it all over your room. You could put it over your altar, sanctifying and blessing your altar and clearing any energies. And you could put it around your body as well, sanctifying your body before you practice. That creates an energy in your space that helps your inner cathedral to emanate and come out, to connect with that divinity within us. Yes? So we're using external modalities, external practices to help cultivate frequencies and expressions of devotion and love, of connectedness within us. Yeah? That's why you do it. What's done externally should also have an internal effect. And you manifest externally because you feel it inside. So there's not that disconnectedness that a lot of people feel with modern religion, because it's a lot external. But one has to realize that the external practices should nourish one's internal practice, internal feelings of devotion and resonance. And you do it externally because one is manifesting what one feels inside. Does that make sense? There should be both. But sometimes when you want to nourish what you can't feel inside, it's important to go like to beautiful temples or cathedrals, to feel it, to help get that feeling inside of you. Like planting that seed that could blossom. So when you go to these places, it's even greater because it resonates externally what you feel inside. But you got to take it from where you can find it to plant those seeds. So creating one's altar can be that external thing that sort of lights that flame within you, that helps you connect. Do you see? So it's important to create what works for you. So when we do the practice and say the sacred name, it already has that resonance from the outside. And the name we could say out loud, we could say it within us. And then it starts coming from the inside, from the outside. The inside feeds the outside, and the outside feeds the inside. And then you have a complete symbiotic relationship between both. And then one day you just fall into that slipstream. You kind of just slip right into it, and you're like, oh my God, that's what he was talking about. Oh my God. And that's the power of the divine recitation of a name. This is why this is such a quick path. We're working it from all angles. And if you do some physical exercise, not is it only great for your body, look at all the benefits that I did. So now you're working on the physical, you're working on all the different levels you can, and it's a stackable. And then you work on each slowly so you don't hurt yourself, and it grows, but quickly you're there. Without a sense of grasping. You don't want to be like, I want to get there, and that'll hold you back. You simply just do it, and you rest in it. And you just let go. The dust, the grime, and everything will just naturally lift away magically. Yes? So we're going to light our candle and put up our incense. We stretch the legs a little bit. Reduce the tension in the muscles, especially the legs, so the energy is better able to flow through your body. We want to learn to cultivate the flow of energy in our body so energetic blockages can be released. So hot baths are great, showers, hot tubs, massage, acupuncture. Now do you see why all these things I've mentioned before kind of work with it? It's working with the physicality. But the physicality are the conduits with which energy moves. So we have to work with these energetic highways, so to speak. Right? The veins and the nutrients that flow through our tree, which is our body. Right? So you get into a seated position, the one that's comfortable for you. All the positions that are possible are mentioned on my website. www.wisdomoftheshalom.com. And I promise you this week I will put stretching exercises. I now have a lot more time. So I'm going to do a lot of work on the website and things, especially editing the teachings. Okay, so it's all there, all the positions. You find the one that's most comfortable for you. The important part is that you're aligned, back is straight, and you're comfortable. So there is no, how to put it, no imbalances energetically in the body. Now most people will probably be able to do the semi-lotus position or cross-legged or whatever. If you do the semi-lotus or even cross-leg, you should alternate which sort of foot is on top which leg is on top, and thou balance it. Okay? At some point, one part will get a little numb, so you switch to the other part, and that will balance it. Okay? The full lotus is naturally balanced. That's why you don't shift. And I explain which foot should be up and which one down, depending whether you're a man or woman, because the channels are flipped between the sexes. So for a man, since I mentioned it, the right foot is up. So the right foot is on top of the left foot, and the right leg is on top of the left, and you don't need to shift. For women, the left leg is on top. Okay, but it's an advanced position, and you have to work up to it and be very careful. You could really hurt yourself really fast. That's why all the other positions are mentioned. So you find your alignment and your back is straight. That permits the energy to flow through your body. And with time, you learn with your breath how to adjust and relax your back and your spine so it's very aligned. And it looks at the altar, and you look at basically the altar should be, your head should be slightly down. So I'm basically, what works for me is about 4 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, ahead of me, 4 to 5 feet ahead of me, at a slightly downward gaze, okay? And you just lie there and just take a couple breaths and you relax. And now we're going to do our normal practice, okay? Find the stillness. Feel the freshness of the breath on the front nose as you begin to inhale through the nose. Relax. So I'm going to take 3 deeper breaths through the nose. This will still the energy in our bodies, make it calm, because it removes energies that are not balanced and agitated. This is why you do pranayama. And because you remove through the exhale energies that are unagitated, so it sort of takes away the imbalances, it actually calms your mind and the emotions and makes you present. Because all of these things are agitated energies. Emotions come from energy. So we're working here with the energetic frequencies which give rise to thoughts and emotions, which give rise to actions, good or bad or neutral. So by working with the energy, the state of being that's beneath that, we're literally working with the causes that give rise to everything else. Hence why it's so quick and fast and makes changes very quickly. We're relating directly to the energy. So we're going to take some inhales. I'm going to do 1. And then I'll leave you to do the remaining 3, but I will guide you. Okay, so line up, back straight, be comfortable. You shouldn't feel tension in your body, so find that position. Hands where they feel comfortable. I don't advocate any positions that strain, like in a position over the navel or the hara. I haven't learned Zen. In the tradition I've learned, palms are in a calm position. Nothing where requires muscle tightness. We're not focusing in any part of the body. So, eyes closed. So So we breathe in, we do like 80% of the capacity of the lungs. So a deeper inhale, a deeper exhale, and we do that open hold that I've taught on the exhale and the inhale. But we're not doing too much pressure yet, okay? All right, so inhale through the nose. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. When you exhale, you do it from the stomach contracting in. It exhales more energy from the lungs. Exhale, 5-6 seconds, or 7 or 8, whatever your speed is. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Now breathe normally and be present. Just relax. Put your awareness in your body and see how you feel differently from before. And that also helps you gauge whether you should do less strong, or whether you can go a little more next time. But it also gives you an assessment as to the practice, how beneficial it is, what it does. So that grows into your real-world knowledge through your own experience, and also how to go about it next time in a different way, to deepen it, or whether you're good maintaining it at this level for a couple weeks or months or whatever you feel like. Or maybe you never need to go any deeper. Or maybe you feel it's not a practice for you right now. So there's always that assessment. Not every practice is for everyone. As you noticed, I did one breath. I don't need to do more. If I wasn't teaching it, I wouldn't be doing this practice right now. Yet there was a period in my life that I did it for years at a very intense level. Right? So the right thing at the right time for the right amount, and it's for you to kind of assess. Yes, calmly, focus, eyes open. When you finish and you start breathing normally, you gently open your eyes and you look at your prayer space. So that instills devotion, reminding you this is a sacred practice. And this practice isn't just about clearing the air, the energy, but it's about creating the space to align with God. That's the purpose here. It's with that intent of devotion towards God that makes this practice deistic, with Yahweh, with Hashem, with Adonai, with Emmanuel. The name that you choose to use. Yes? Breathe and relax. Look at the incense going up. It's a sacred space. You offer the incense up and it's rising to the heavens. The sacred, the devotion, the love, desire to connect. now we say the name of God that speaks to us. So for me it's Yahweh, and it's acceptable to say it in a sacred space. Or even say it inside ourselves in any space. Yes, so for me, I work with Yahweh, so that's the name I'll be saying. And I'll say it out loud for a couple times. Then I tend to move it more inward. But it still manifests that frequency. With practice, you'll learn how to say it inwardly. But normally it transitions from more out loud to just, as you recite it, it becomes more of a whisper. And then at some point you'll learn to recite it inside, but energetically. It just happen naturally. And you could do it more internally, more as a soft whisper, externally, however you feel. For that occasion, or depending on your ability. So just align, relax, shoulders relax, spine relax, body comfortable, hands in a comfortable, relaxed position. People are doing full lotus, it should be in that hand position over the kneecap, with the thumb on the inside in that pressure point. If it's comfortable for you to have your hands there, what's important is you're relaxed. Yahweh, 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 Since it's done with devotion, you could also put your hands to your face in more of a prayer posture. It's whatever, or in the center of your chest, your hands can come together, fingertips touching. You could bend slightly in prayer as you say the name. So it evolves. The importance is to feel the devotion and love while reciting the name. And you can take pauses when you wish. But today we're doing more of a recitation practice, so I'm saying it more times. If you feel saturated, which is possible, you stop and you take a rest. And you let the energy move through your body, and then once it sort of settles, you can do it again, or you could just sit in presence. You don't want to do it too much, you sort of build up to it. It depends how you feel. You trust your instincts. And then you see how you feel for a day or two, and then you assess how you do your practice the next time based on the results. Yes? Say the name again, if you feel called to. say the name, you might relax more. And then your spine may crack. You might need to stretch. Your body may realign itself. And that's because the pressure of our tension is relaxing. Because as I mentioned at the beginning, all sorts of chemical and physiological things are happening when we do this. And all of that makes us relax. And so our body may shift, may crack a little bit as it realigns itself to a better posture, which allows our mind to be more calm because our energy flows better. And with time, it realigns more and more, and our body is in a better posture of alignment, which helps us with our practice. So it all sort of feeds back and amplifies and helps itself in going forward and deepening. That's why it's sort of everything comes into the mix. Sometimes when you say mantras, I say it with my eyes closed sometimes, or my eyes open. When you're starting, it's easier to focus by having your eyes lightly closed. And then as you say it, after a while, you might naturally open your eyes and resonate with your altar as you say the name. So there's just many different little techniques that just naturally happen. So just go with the flow. At some point you just let go of the technique and you allow it to manifest how it manifests, because you're entering that current of God, that connection, and you just trust to let go into that space and be in that space. You communicate and you feel that energy, and you just do what you feel called in cultivating that energy that you're doing. You let go in your prayer. You let go in your inner cathedral. So why don't everybody take 7-8 minutes and resonate with that. As you're doing this, it's important sometimes to remember to take some deep breaths and just relax the tension as you're doing it. Sometimes when we do these practices, we may get a little tense, depending, but even if we're not, we unlock deeper levels of relaxation and flow by remembering to take some breaths, some deep breaths and a slow exhale. Not the pranayama, but just remembering to breathe deeply and to relax. Check your posture, make sure you're upright, your back is straight. Make any adjustments. And relax. You can say the name again if you feel called, or continue, or just sit in the presence for a couple more minutes. Or whatever devotional, or whatever you feel to do. Okay. So feel free to continue if you wish. If you wish to continue resonating with quiet and presence, going off into nature or a quiet place is always helpful, or a quiet backyard, and learning to be in more quiet and learning what that feels like to have a calmer, energetic flow and frequency, and maybe pray a little bit in that space. So thank you very much for joining me this week. As we're doing more of the winter practices, I may, like maybe once a week, if I feel called to, maybe quickly with an hour's notice, maybe do a practice with you all, just praying together, around 6, 7, or 8 o'clock at night, my time. And I might also allow people who are in radically different time zones than the Pacific time of California to more easily join us. So please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Not so much for the numbers, that's not something I focus on, but so you can receive the notifications if I choose to do that. So you'll get notified that there's a live prayer being advertised to begin, however much in advance the notice is. And I wish you a beautiful Sunday and a wonderful week. And thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.